Wildfire season in California is year-round, but as we prepare for the hot, dry months ahead, the threat of wildfire may be greater than ever before. From San Diego to Los Angeles and the Bay Area, we have NBC reporters and meteorologists throughout California looking into this year's biggest fire concerns to bring you the most important information to prepare for wildfire. Conditions for wildfire here in California could be pointing to an extreme threat in the months ahead. Thanks for joining us. I'm Monica Dean. Fire crews and first responders across our state are getting ready for peak fire season. We'll take a look back at a few of the historic fires throughout the state that forever changed lives and improved how firefighters battle them today. And we'll show you what you should be doing right now to prepare to keep you and your family safe. This is one of the biggest wildland fire training exercises in the state. It involves agencies throughout San Diego and even into Mexico. And the location is especially significant. 20 years ago, this land burned during the devastating Cedar Fire. As California's climate evolves, CAL FIRE is constantly evaluating and strategizing how best to protect people, property, and resources here in California. Joining us now is CAL FIRE Chief John Heggie to tell us what we can expect in the months to come. Chief Heggie, thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
This has been such an unusual year with such a wet winter. What is CAL FIRE predicting as we head into peak fire season? We're here in downtown San Diego. It's starting to rain. We're on Commercial Avenue and we're next to some of the many homeless encampments that line the streets here in downtown. We came down here to talk with Deacon Jim at Father Joe's Villages about how he is trying to tackle the massive crisis facing our city when it comes to homelessness. And it's a stark contrast between these tents where people are living and the hope that's inside the building next door. Where do you begin with a topic that feels like a tidal wave, right? So I understand that California has nearly a third of our nation's homeless population. Do you feel like we're making progress?
Well, you know, a lot of times you wonder whether we are making progress, and yet we are.
It's important, Deacon Jim, to hear you say that, because when you drive through downtown just to get to this building this morning, the encampments are lining the streets, and there is a sense of hopelessness, or that the growth of this problem is happening at such a rapid pace. How can we possibly dig out of it? What are your greatest needs right now?
Right. Well, and by the way, those homeless encampments have been growing. I mean, we have many more than we had a number of years ago, and many more people who are falling onto the streets.
Deployed and denied.
A lot of it was, I believe, racially motivated.
Black veterans returning home from their service say discrimination at the VA kept them from getting the benefits they rightfully deserve.
Yeah, this is another war of fighting for what is rightfully mine.
NBC journalists across the country investigated the allegations and serious shortfalls at the Veterans Administration, what we found, and how, since our reporting, progress is being made. Our investigation has taken a year and resulted in the release of 18 million new documents from the VA. It shows the battle for fair veterans benefits, regardless of race, is nowhere near over. Thanks for joining us. I'm Monica Dean. Since that report, NBC News has stayed on top of the Department of Veterans Affairs. In the process, we've uncovered new information that reveals just how persistent discrimination in the benefits awards process continues to be. So, Mark, there's people across the country who are glad to see this issue get national attention, but the question is, what took so long?
I think it's a couple of things, Monica. Number one, the VA was very slow in recognizing how big a problem this was. And secondly, these are members of the greatest generation. These are not people who grew up complaining. So a lot of times, these men and women simply suffered in silence, hoping that there would be changes that would help them down the road.
And these stories are representative of a much larger group of people who served our country, but feel like their investment wasn't honored with the benefits they had earned. Hospitals overwhelmed by a pediatric mental health crisis.
I sit not infrequently with children as young as 8 years old that are telling me, "Doctor, I'm thinking about suicide." 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I started doing this work, that was unheard of. It keeps getting younger.
families struggling to cope with the devastating impact.
He just felt really alone. He felt really hopeless. And I look back on it, and he was so full of life. He didn't want to die. He did not want to die. He wanted, in that moment, to silence the noise of the world.
And kids speaking out to let their peers know they're not alone.
It feels like you're in just like this big arena or cage all by yourself with no one there to help you, to protect you, anything. You're all by yourself with nothing. You're just trapped.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Monica Dean. In the next hour, we'll be taking an up-close look at kids in crisis, the mental health of our youth, the staggering number of children and families who are struggling, and for the first time ever, we're getting an exclusive look inside Rady Children's Hospital's psychiatric emergency unit, where doctors are trying to meet an overwhelming need. Chances are you're close to a young person struggling with mental health. It's always been tough to navigate the changes of late childhood and adolescence, but right now experts say the U.S. is seeing a frightening increase in the number of young people seeking treatment for mental health problems. Take a look here. A recent study from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found an unprecedented level of hopelessness and suicidal thoughts among high school students in the United States. Overall, more than 40% of boys and girls said that they had felt so sad or hopeless within the past year that they were unable to do their regular activities for at least 2 weeks. The surge in the number of children seeking emergency help for mental health concerns is overwhelming emergency departments. It's a story that's getting national attention. Recently, NBC News medical reporter Erica Edwards reported on 3 influential groups of pediatricians and emergency medicine providers who are pleading for more support and resources. Peyton Baker isn't alone when it comes to using her voice to help destigmatize mental health concerns. We'll introduce you to another teenager who has taken her activism for the cause to the next level.
I started really getting into documentary making because I loved the platform that I could use to spread messages.
Her award-winning work that's increasing awareness about a problem that is sometimes hard to spot. Plus,
many of those algorithms get them going down a narrow path on a particular subject that is not helpful or not healthy for the student.
The impact social media is having on mental health among teens and the push to limit screen time.